Hello everyone, in this video I'll be solving Cambridge AS Level Information Technology Paper 2 for May-June 2025. You have been supplied with the following source files. I have copied the source files in my working folder. These are the files. You must use the most efficient methods to solve each task. You work for the Tavera School, who runs 7 classes a week. Each classroom has a letter on the door rather than a number. Each teacher can teach up to 4 classes per day. These are the information given. You have to create a spreadsheet to find the classes for a selected teacher on a selected day. All dates must be displayed in DD, YYYY format. So make sure your dates are in DD, YYY format. Open and examine the file J25 teacher using spreadsheet application software. So I'm using Microsoft Excel. So this is the teacher file. Name this worksheet as teacher. So just name the worksheet as teacher. Open and examine J25 data. Place its content in a new worksheet called data within the same workbook. So this is the data file. Copy all the data. So create a new sheet called data here and paste it here. This worksheet now contains data about classes, subjects, and lessons. The data for the subjects, periods, and room letters is stored as strings in the classes section. So here you can see the classes section. In the classes section, the codes are given. So the first letter represents the subject code. The next one represents the period class 1. And the next one is the room number or the letter for the room. Same way, from the from the fourth character, again, it represents the class 2 subject code, class 2 period, and class 2 room, and so on. The length of the string will depend on number of classes taught by the teacher. So there is maximum 4 classes per day. So it can go up to 12 characters here. Create a new worksheet within the workbook called Finder. So create a new worksheet here and its name is Finder. In this worksheet, create a table with merged cells to be formatted like this. So we need to create the table like this. Just to do it faster, I'll keep it here as a screenshot. So here you have to type class finder. Let's enter all the text here. After that, we will format. Now I have finished entering the data. Now we need to format it like this. You can see this row is merged over these 5 columns. So let's merge it from column A to E. Merge and center. The background color is black and the text color is white. Now let's increase the font size. Make it bold. All these are right aligned. So let's make it right aligned. These two are bold. Now row 11 is having the same format as row 1. Let's use the format finder to copy the formatting. Just select these rows. All these data should be center aligned. So the formatting is done. You can remove this screenshot. Save your workbook as finder followed by your center number and candidate number. So save this inside your folder, and it should be named as finder followed by your center number and candidate number, and make sure it is saved as Excel workbook. Place in cell B3 the date 13 March 2025. Format this date as DD MMM YYYY. So let's enter the date here. In order to format, right click, format cells. You can go to custom. DD MMM M and 4Y. Give OK. Restrict the data entry for this cell so that only dates from 2025 to 2026 can be entered. If the date is not accepted, display an appropriate error message. So we need to do the validation for this cell. So go to data validation, select date here. So the dates must be between 2025 and 2026. So the start date should be 1st January 2025 and the end date must be 31st December 2026. Now in the error alert, you can give a message. Only dates between 2025 and 2026 can be entered. Okay. You can check by entering any other date, 2024. So you will get the error message. Set cell B4 so that the name of the teacher can be selected from a drop-down list. The teacher worksheet can be edited if required. So here we need a drop-down list for the teacher's name. The teacher's name can be found in the teacher worksheet. So here also we can provide a validation. So go to data validation. Here you need to select list, and now the source you can select from the teacher file, the name of the teacher. So select this column, give OK. So now you can see there is a drop down list with the teacher's name. Place in cell B6 a formula to look up the code for this teacher. So here you can see the code of the teacher is given in the first column here. So since this is in the first column, we cannot use VLOOKUP. We can use XLOOKUP here. So select the name of the teacher. We need to look up the code. So equal to XLOOKUP. Now the lookup value will be the name of the teacher. The lookup array will be the column where the name of the teacher is entered in this worksheet. So this is the lookup array. Next, the return array. Return array is the column from which we need the corresponding answer. So return array is the teacher code. The teacher code is the return array. Okay. So the name of the teacher, the code for the teacher is shown here. Place in cell B7 a function to return the day code of the date entered in cell B3. For example, Sunday equal to 1, Monday equal to 2, etc. So in order to get the date code, we have a function called weekday. Weekday of this date you can select. So you will get the code here. Place as in cell B8 a function to return the day of the week for the date entered in cell B3. So in order to return the day, we can format this date, use the text function. This is the date, and the format text will be 4Ds, which represents the whole day name. So you can give like this 4D. Give OK. So it will show the day of the week. Place in cell B9 index and match functions to display the string for this teacher's lessons during the teacher code and a day of the week. So using the teacher code and the day of the week, we need to find the string for the teacher's class. So the teacher's class is given in the data worksheet. You can see these are the codes for the teachers and this is the day. So each class of the teacher is the intersection of, for example, if it is DGI and Thursday, this should be the teacher code. So it is the intersection of this row and this column. So we have to use index function. So equal to index. Select the first option. So array is the table from which we need the data. So just select the data here. So this is the data. Now row number is the row number of the teacher code. So the teacher code we already have here. So we need to get the row number of this code, which is DGI. So in order to get that, we have to use the match function. Now match function will return the row number of the item which we are selecting here. So match functions format is lookup value, lookup array, and lookup range. So lookup value is the teacher code, comma, the lookup array. Lookup array is where this code appears in your data. So the code appears in this one. So from this column, it will return the row number in which the teacher code is there, comma, 0. 0 is for the exact value, we have to give 0. Same way, we have to give the column number. So for column number, you can give match. Now here the lookup value will be the day of the week. Then we need to select the data again. Comma. Sorry. You need to select this data for the column number of the day we selected this data, then comma 0 for exact match. So give OK. So now you can see you got the string for the teacher. So this is DGI and Thursday. So this data is shown here. So this is the function index and using index and match. We can see the teacher, according to the teacher names, the data is changing. So that's done. Place in cells B13 to E13, formulate to display the name of the subject for each class. Now, here it was given, the name of the subject is given. The subject code is given as the first character here. For the second class, it is the fourth character. And for the fourth class, it will be the seventh character and so on. So there is a difference between difference of 3 characters for each classes. So we have the subject code here, but we need to display the subject name. So you can see the subject code and the name is given here. So we can use a VLOOKUP function equal to VLOOKUP. So the lookup value will be the first character of the string. Now we can use left function to get the first character, but we are going to create a formula which should be replicated. So I'm going to use the mid function so that it can be used for all other classes. So I'll use mid function, mid. This is the string. We need the first character for class 1. So 1, 1. 1 is the position of the character which we need, and this one is how many characters we need to extract. Now table array is this one and column index is 2 because subject is in the second column. Range lookup is 0 for the exact match. Since we are going to replicate, I'm going to make this table array absolute. So you can add the $sign to make it absolute. So you can see the name of the subject here. Now this string has to be absolute. When I'm going to replicate, only this position I have to change for each class. So I'll make this string also absolute. Now in this case, we have only two classes. So class 3 and class 4 will be empty. So I'll just replicate the formula. Now we have to change it to fourth character here because the second class subject code is in the fourth value. So give 4 here. Here it should be 4 plus 3, 7. And here it should be 10. So now you can see this is showing not available because we have only 2 classes for this particular string. Next we have to display the time for each class in B14 to E14. So same way we can do equal to, we look up. Now the time is the second character. For the first class, second character is the time. And for the second class, the fifth character is the time. Just like the subject, we have to add three more characters for each class. So the lookup value will be mid 2 comma 1, because we need the second character for the class. Now here this value is shown as a string. We have to convert this into numeric value. So we have to make sure the value function is added here. Now this is a numeric value. Why we are doing this is because in the lookup table, the 2, this number 2 will be as a numeric value, and when you extract from this without the value function, it will be a string, so it will not match. So in order to make sure both are of numeric type, we are using the value function. Now table array would be this table array, which will show the timing for each period. Make sure that is absolute. Column index number is 2 as before, and range lookup is 0. You okay? Now here, same way, we have to make this absolute. Now you need to make sure the positions are correct. So first one was 2, so this should be 5. Just add 3 so that correct timing is given. 8, and here it will be 11. Place in cells B15 to E15 formulate to display the room used for each class. So the room is the third character, and for class 2 it will be the sixth character, and so on. So we can just use a mid function, mid comma 3 comma 1. Again make it absolute. Now you can replicate, just change the position. So now here it will be 6, this will be 9, this will be 12. Here there is no error message because the data is only till 6 characters. Edit the formula in cells B13 to E15 so that if there is no data for this class, it does not display an error. So these errors should not be displayed. So we need to make sure the formula is edited. So we can use the if error function. Just enclose the complete formula within if error. So start if error here, start a bracket, and at the end, comma, you have to give double quotes. Double quotes represents an empty cell. So you can see this is how the formula looks. So if this formula returns an error, it will not show the error, but it will show the space. So that's what if error formula is used for. Now you have to do this for all these values. comma. So now you can see the error messages are not displayed. Here also you can do for all these, you have to do the same way if error formula. So here you don't have to do in this row because it's not showing any error, and it will not show the error because it will be based on the mid function here. Next, replace the labels in cells B12 to E12 with formulae to display the labels class 1 to class 4 only if there is data for that class. If there is no data, the label should not be visible. So here now you can see this is empty. So when these are empty, this label should not be shown. We have to replace these text with a formula. So I'm going to use an if formula here, equal to if this cell equal to empty. Empty means double quotes. If it's empty, the label should be also empty. So give double quotes here. Otherwise it will be class 1. Now you can replicate this and make sure this is class 2, this is class 3, this is class 4. So now you can see if you select a different teacher here. So here now there are 4 classes happening here. So you can see all the data are shown. Let's make it completely visible. And let's make this center line. All this data center aligned. So the formula is done. Create a new word process document and save it as test plan followed by your center number and candidate number. For example, test plan. So let's open a Word document. You need to save this as test plan followed by your center number and candidate number. In this document, create a test plan to test the restricted data entry in cell B3. Include the type of test, appropriate test data, and the type of data selected. Use this plan to test data entry for this cell. For each test, take screenshot evidence and place this in your test plan document. So for the test plan, let's insert a table. with 4 columns and 5 or 6 rows. We can add or remove as needed. Give auto fit to contents. Okay. So the test is validation and it is a name. It's a range check. We have to check whether the data entered in cell B4 are between, the dates are between 2025 and 2026. So this is a range check. You can merge these cells. Now type of data, test data, expected outcome, and actual outcome. So this is our test table. Now we know that there are 3 types of test data. They are normal data, abnormal data, and extreme data. So first let's enter normal data. Normal data is the data that comes within the acceptable range. So any data within the dates 2025 and 2026 is acceptable, or it is the normal data. And what we expect is to the data should be accepted by the system in case of normal data as well as in case of extreme data. So our expected outcome. So one of the test data, you can give the same date here. So our expected outcome is the data should be accepted. Now the actual outcome, you have to take a screenshot so you can see this is accepted. So you can take a screenshot of this. This is our actual outcome. Let's give one more test data for the type of normal data. 24/12/2026. So these two are normal data. Let's mark this. Make sure all of them are centralized. So in this case also, our expected outcome is accepted by the system. Now we can just check whether it is accepted by the system. So enter the data. So you can see this data is also accepted. Take a screenshot. Now let's use 2 examples of abnormal data. So abnormal data means data which is outside the range. That means we cannot enter any date from 2025 or 2026. So let's give another date from 2024. And we know that it should be rejected by the system. So that is the expected outcome. So let's check this. So now you can see this is the error message. So let's take a screenshot of the error message. Now another example for abnormal data. Let's enter one date from after 2026. So again, we are getting an error message. Let's take the screenshot and paste it here. So these are two examples of abnormal data. Now let's enter extreme data. Extreme data are the data at the limits of acceptability to make sure even at the limit the data is accepted. So one of the extreme data is 1/1/2025 and the other one is 31/12/2026. These are the extreme data. So in the extreme cases also, the data should be accepted by the system. So that is our expected outcome. Now let's check the 2025. So it is accepted. So let's take the screenshot. Now the other example for extreme data. This is also accepted. Take a screenshot. Please write the cell which is tested. The cell tested is B4 here. So this is the test table for the validation which we did in cell B4. We have tested with three types of data: normal data, abnormal data, and extreme data, to make sure the data is accepted or rejected in all cases. So this is the test table. This is the end of the spreadsheet task. Next one is video editing, which will be done in another video. Thank you for now.